Thank you, Doug, for doing that.
Go ahead.
Do this one, too?
Yes.
All right, let's get started again. Good morning, everyone. I am welcoming you today to Quimper Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. And our welcome this morning is from one called Amanda Schubert. If this is your first time here or your 101st time, we are glad you're here. If you have come in bearing the burdens of the world, or if you've entered the doors with a song in your heart and a skip in your step, you are welcome. Let's hope we mostly entered with a skip in our step. And we will have songs in our heart coming up. My name is Bill Testerman, and I'm a member of the board of QUUF. And as we gather here, I acknowledge that the shorelines, the water, and the land here in Port Townsend are the traditional territories of the Sklallam and the Chimicum peoples. We honor and acknowledge our indigenous members and vow to help restore and sustain these homelands. If you're visiting today, I offer you a special welcome and invite you to join us afterwards for refreshments and conversation in the fellowship hall. We have a newcomers table near the patio doors where the greeters are ready to answer any questions you might have. Welcome to you all. And before we settle our minds here, I'd like to read our QUUF mission statement. It's something we have recently adopted, and we need to maybe think about this every day. Who are we? And why are we here? Our mission is we join hearts and minds to learn, to serve, and to nurture justice, holding love at the center of all we are and all we do. Simple but very powerful. So let's settle our minds and calm our hearts.
Good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful morning. I'm so glad you came, even though it's so beautiful. You should be outside. It is so wonderful and more beautiful of a morning to see all of your wonderful smiling faces. I'm Scotty, also known as Stefani Scott, and so very pleased to serve as the worship leader for a celebration of nature's sacred places yesterday, today, and tomorrow, which reflects the third UU principle that encourages spiritual growth and the seventh principle that acknowledges our interdependence to all of nature. Let's welcome the morning by singing with Doug, who will be leading hymn 38. It'll be up here. Morning Has Broken, and played so beautifully by Pat Rodgers. Please rise in body and spirit.
Morning has broken.
And who is this, Julia?
This is Paulie.
They're going to help light the chalice today. Please join me in our chalice lighting words. The flame we light is the flame of the human spirit, started by reactions of elements in the stars from the beginning of time. It is the flame of compassion, the flame of justice, the flame of peace, love, and joy, which brings us all hope for this good earth and all its children. Thank you. We're now going to create a nature altar. I wish there were more kids here today, but please, please come up. If you forgot to collect something from nature to place on the altar table, there is a basket at the end of the table from which you can pick another nature gift. The vase with the wetlands plants represent earth waters. The base is part of a tree trunk, which represents all of the earth's forests, which bring us oxygen. The spirals spreading out from the center are symbols of nature's resilience and the infinite universe, from galaxies to ocean waves to the smaller life, like sprouting lady ferns or orb spider webs. Those sitting on this side, please rise now if you haven't, and come up and place your gift from nature anywhere on the table. You can weave it in the spirals, which represent symbols of nature's resilience. Now, and Pat's going to be singing, as you come up, a special song.
The ceiling is high to let your soul rise up to the angels who teach you to fly. And when you're weary of clouds, it helps you back down and welcomes you home to this hallowed ground. It's gilded in gold, gilded in rust, for heaven below and heaven above. The heaven we know here in this world, here in our holy church of the earth. And the windows are wide, so darkness and light, mystery and beauty will meet you inside. And there's room enough for all of us who gather in friendship, who gather in love. It's gilded in gold, gilded in rust, oh heaven below and heaven above. The heaven we know here in this world, here in our holy church of the earth. Church of life, church of life, ancient and bright, life that inside us shines, life that we share. This is our prayer, that we may always find the heaven we seek. Here at our feet, here in this sunrise, in this heartbeat, it's gilded in gold, gilded in rust, for heaven below and heaven above, the heaven we know. Here in this world, here in our holy church of the earth. It's gilded in gold, gilded in rust, for heaven below and heaven above, the heaven we know. Here in this world, here in our holy church of the earth, church of the earth.
All children, parents, and whoever feels like a child at heart, please come up, come forward. And this time I'm going to have the kids who want to come up sit as high as they can get next to me, because we never get to see their faces over a time for all ages. But if you want to, oh, good, great. So come on up, and sit around there. You can face there. Or you can help me. Would you like to help me? Okay, when I point, okay? All right, let me give you the one you helped make, Darby. This one. Okay. This is the first one. So who would like to, the second one, who would like to hold that picture? You're going to hold it up high. If you have to stand up so people can see it. And the reason why I'm getting help from children, how about you, Kaya? Okay, is that this way. You have to hold it this way so people can see, all can see. Some of the children helped me illustrate this story. They were Jane Hugg's children, Eloise, Tilly, and Opal, and my granddaughter, Darby, and even little Cass helped a little bit. You can't tell, but he helped make some of the grasses. Now, you'll be able to see him in the story in just a minute. But first, let me tell you, you can wait till the story comes on. Okay. This, I know most of you don't know me, but by the end of this service, you'll know me very well. Maybe too well. When I was young, and this was long time ago, the children in my neighborhood in Florida used to play a game called King of the Mountain. But as we all know, Florida truly has no mountains. So what we did is we played King on the Raft, and we had a raft that we would push out into this little pond at our dead-end street, and we would push each other off of it. That's how you play. Do you know how you play King of the Mountain?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you ever play it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we played King of the Raft.
Have you ever played with alligators?
They never bothered us. Trust me. They never bothered us. And I called the place the Swamp. And I called it the Swamp because it was surrounded by cattails and reeds, just like these up here. And it was my sacred place. Now I have a question for the kids, and then I'll ask the adults, okay? Because everyone's participating today. Do you know what the word sacred means? What does it mean, Ada?
It means like
Special, did you say? What else? Anyone else got a guess? Okay, well, sometimes you call sacred places holy places, or places that you love to play in. It could be places you just brings a smile to your face and you feel you're close to your soul and to the heavens and things. You could call it blessed. Some people would call it blessed too. Daily in that swamp, in that place in the summertime, there would be afternoon thunderstorms. And it was very, very hot. I mean, very hot in Florida, Central Florida. Rainstorms fell very late afternoon, and I would sit at the edge of the swamp, and in the distance, I could see the rain coming. I could see the lightning strike through the air and through the sky. And then as soon as it got close to the lake, zoom, I had to get home, because you don't stay out in the lightning. You know that, right? Especially underneath trees and by water. Or golf courses, I understand, is very bad too. In that swamp, I made friends with dragonflies. They were my special friends. And I dreamed about the future. Smelling the rain, all the sounds and sights always were enough to fill me with joy and hope, especially because I grew up in a very troubled home. And that's why the swamp was sacred to me. The poem that I'm going to show now, that we're going to do now, and you can stand up and hold the pictures up if you want to now. Okay. Or you can stay by the swamp. By the swamp where tall pine trees sway, lichens and moss rest in the sun's rays. I have some lichens and moss you can touch. That's the next one, okay? We'll give it to an adult to pass around. Do you know how many lichens there are in the world? How many species of lichens? Any guess? Anyone out there? A lot. A lot. But 20,000, they estimate. And of course, we don't know because we haven't explored all of Earth. We don't know. And mosses, you can touch the mosses and the lichens because they're very soft. About 12,000. How many species of humans are there? Anyone know? One. One species of humans, but we're all different, but we're all so much alike too. What was it? Oh, I thought you knew the number. Less than 1% differences among us. Right. Okay. All right, hold up the picture of the cattails. Ada, you have them. Around the cattails, those are cattails, right here, okay? Around the cattails in the shimmering light, dragonflies twirl, wings sparkling and bright. You see up here? See up here? Golden duckweed, hold up the frogs. Golden duckweed floats through rising swirls, hiding playing frogs in silver water whirls. Duckweed is floating from Jane's Pond, right up there in that vase. You can look at it later. They make the smallest flower of any plant on earth, duckweeds. Okay, now, Darby, hold up the next one. Below, invisible tiny life you cannot see, spinning rotifers, dancing shrimp like Daphne. These are the ones the kids help me make the most. Sometimes you can see Daphne spinning around in water, pond water, but you can't see them up close. You can't see that they have a heart that beats. You can't see that they have an eye. So that's why it's really important to understand that there's life all around us that we can't see, but they are like us. The last one, hold up, who has the last one? You have my last one. Kaya, Hold it up. I know, you can see it up there too. In the storm, a child sings and lets their spirit fly, soaring through life, reaching towards the sky. Each raindrop splash carries a story untold, a world full of magic, mystery, awe, waiting to unfold. With peace, love, joy, and hope, their heart beams by the swamp where dreams meet dreams. Now, we're going to do something special today. The kids are going to stay up with me as long as they can. We're going to think about everyone, children, youth, adults. We're going to think about a special place, nature place in our lives. But first, we're going to do a little meditation to help you relax. And how we do this meditation is you sit as relaxed as you can. Everyone sit as relaxed as you can, maybe on your parent's lap. And I'm going to show you how to breathe. Going to listen? Okay, I'm going to do it 3 times, and then you're going to practice, and then you're going to just listen to my voice after that. All right, here's how you breathe when you're trying to meditate. You take a deep breath in, everyone. Quietly let it out, slowly. All right, let's do that 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now keep your eyes closed and keep breathing while listening to my voice. Think of any place in nature where you find peace, love, joy, hope, or just a place you like to play in. Maybe it's your own garden where you have beautiful flowers, like the ones that are up here today. Maybe it's a place where you sit in the morning and hear the birds wake up, and they bring you joy. Maybe it's a place where you hear bees zooming around those flowers. It could be at the ocean, where you like to wade in tide pools and look for other little animals. Maybe walking through a meadow where you smell the wildflowers, or clamming on a beach. It could be on top of a mountain that still has snow on it, or just walking through a forest and seeing some sunshine come through the forest trees. Keep breathing. I know some of you have stopped. See yourself there in your nature place. Keep seeing the nature place in your mind as well as you can. And we're going to breathe in and out 5 more times. All right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now open your eyes. Now everyone, turn to someone near you and share that with that person, your favorite place, your nature favorite place. Share it with someone near you. And then let them share. And tell them why you love that place. Well, when I was a child, it was the swan. Right now, it's looking out the pond. Where's your favorite place?
taken back to Grand Teton National Park.
I remember that. Fields of wildflowers, rivers, mountains.
Okay, you can talk afterwards at coffee hour and maybe extend that conversation. Now for something a little different today, while the kids are still sitting with me. They will be taught the hymn, Peace Like a River. The hymn is really easy for children because they only have to know a few words in it. But it's really easy for people like me. And Christina already knows to mute the mic because I cannot sing on tune for the life of me, but I love to sing. I love to sing. At the end of the hymn, and the congregation, of course, is going to help as well. At the end of the hymn, before singing out the children to RE, if they want to go, they are more than happy to stay. It's not a very long service today. Julia Cochrane and Heather Hanson are going to share their thoughts from the pulpit on their sacred places. You may rise if you want to now and swing and sway with the music, or you can do what I always do, and I swing and I sway, and it's called seat dancing. I especially do it in front of stop signs and red lights. So if you ever see a woman dancing, it's probably me at a stop sign or a stoplight.
Okay, this is called Peace Like a River. It's very easy. The words are kind of repeat except for the very end. So, I've got peace like a river. Now you sing that. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. Okay, I'll call out the next verse to you guys. Pat's going to play the piano. Okay, everybody rise. Let's do it.
Or swing. And you see.
Peace like a river, I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. Like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like an mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul.
Okay, Julia and Heather, we're going to come up now. to go first?
We're singing out the children, yes?
No, we're singing out the children after, because I thought they would like to hear you speak.
Are you okay with this, kids? You want to escape? Okay. Hi. My name's Julia Cochrane, and I'm a short older white woman wearing flowery stuff. And I use just Julia as my pronoun statement. When Scotty asked me to write about a place I find sacred, I vacillated between too many ideas. That huge apple tree in Riverside Park when I was a child, the red earth of northeastern California, Orcas Island, and on and on. And then I realized that the place I had the most connection with is my home's outside and inside gardens. Outside my home, my only plant that is not potted is a rosemary bush. It's pretty big at this point, and when we last moved it from town to Katie's house, no one was sure it would survive. It has thrived, like I have. The other outdoor plant that has traveled through many yards with me is a large saucer of hens and chicks, a type of succulent, that were part of my stepmother's world. At some point this spring, a deer knocked it over, and rather than harming the plants, they're happier than ever. Inside my small space, there are 36 plants. I counted them yesterday. Some, like a type of bamboo that grows in water, were gifts from a friend who propagated these and had an abundance. There are plants from other people's moves and downsizing, like one from Reverend Tony Vincent, who's in the back, when she moved to California a long time ago, and I was able to give her a piece of it when she returned. And there's a large potted plant outside from Quentin Wald. Inside, there's a very large cactus that has been roughed up a bit by moves, but has managed to travel through my homes for nearly 30 years. But one of my favorites is a plant my daughter gave me that grows long, 4 to 5 foot tendrils, which spread out into leaf-like forms and hovers above me when I'm on my computer. These friends are who I see first thing in the morning and last thing at night. Much like the teenagers I raised, I try to make contact with each plant every day, but definitely every week when I water them. Contact means an inspection of their health, a new growth, a little grooming, and a brief conversation about how they and I are doing. As I said, much like living with teens. Part of my relationship with my plants is that I know they are a reflection of my health and sanity. If I can't meet their needs, then I'm not meeting my own. Unlike pets, plants die in silence, so they are a better barometer. The fact that my plants mostly thrived through this last move tells me I'm doing okay. I also find them miraculous. A vine maple that Cher gave me pre-pandemic surprises me every year with little orange lantern-like flowers. And my so-called Christmas cactuses bloom for every major holiday and my birthday. When I breathe out, they breathe in. That is a real miracle. I'll never lack oxygen in my home. Finally, I recently read that studies have found that green can help lower anxiety and stress levels. And now that I live in a much smaller space with my plants, my blood pressure is lower, and at this time of chaos, I take moments out of my day to center on the plants around me and how they just keep on producing and reproducing and creating the food and oxygen we all need to survive. Maybe plants are my totem, symbolizing perseverance and mutual aid, which are some of my core values. May you all share a moment today with a plant friend.
Now you get a choice. Do you want to be sung out? I know, Heather, but you could wait a second, right?
I can wait a second.
Right.
I can wait many
We're
seconds.
flexible. Okay, you have a choice. It's not very much longer, but you can go to RE and you can do an art project. You can play out in the playground, or you can stay if you want, because there's a lot more music, but there are a lot more words, but not very long, okay? So let's vote. That's what you do. Who wants to go out, be sung out? Are you ready? Okay, all right. And parents, you know, you can go with your children, just so you know. All right, we're going to sing out the children now, everyone.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Thank you. I'm Heather. Hi. My first clear memory of witnessing the ocean is from a camping trip I took with my dad when I was about 8. It was one of those dazzling days on the Washington coast, warm enough to swim and secluded enough that we were the only people we could see. I spent hours playing in the surf. This was also my first memory of seeing how quickly a storm could come in. At first, the dark clouds were far in the distance, barely noticeable for what they were. But before we could even pack up our stuff, the wind was roaring and hail the size of dimes was pelting us. It was terrifying. My dad pulled me close to his side and held his coat over my head, and we ran together towards cover. It was a long way, and the hail hurt. And I remember being aware that it must be hurting him too. The ocean roared, and from my safe place, I was in awe. To this day, whenever I'm in front of the roaring surf, I must dip my toes in. And I still feel that precise joy and awe. I want to read a poem by Mary Oliver because I can't help myself. I go down to the shore in the morning, and depending on the hour, the waves are rolling in or moving out. And I say, "Oh, I am miserable. What should I do?" And the sea says in its lovely voice, "Excuse me, I have work to do." Thank you.
We're going to do the offering now. This is when we pause for a time of generosity and to receive an offering to support the life and ministry of QUUF. The ushers will come among you to receive the offering, and additional ways for giving will be projected. Please join me in our offering words. This fellowship is the community of ourselves. Its energy and resources are our energy and resources. Its wealth is what we share. As we contribute to the life of this community, we affirm our lives within it. I'm going to sing now a very famous hymn called the American Hymn, and it is usually performed by famous opera singers. We're going to sing it in a folk sway, right?
Thanks for
I have seen a summer day that slowly opens like a rose along a quiet road that wanders by, and I have smiled and wondered where it goes, and I have stumbled through the night alone as any man can be, then found a silent canyon full of stars, and in my heart I heard them telling me I was home. The gentle winds, the rains that fall, the tallest trees, and I'm part of it all. I've seen the silver mountain tops and golden prairies on my way. Now everywhere I go across the land, I stand so proudly in the sun and say, I am home. The gentle winds, rains that fall, the tallest trees, and I'm part of it all. I've dreamed of Eden all my life. I find it more and more each day. Now everywhere I go across the land, I stand so proudly in the sun and say, I am home.
This time is set aside to share joys and sorrows and recognize that our personal joys and sorrows are interconnected to all life on earth. Today, we place a stone in sorrow for all the human, animal, and plant life lost by devastating acts of war across the world, for the destruction of public lands like our national forests and the lands of indigenous peoples, such as the Big Cypress Swamp Preserve of the Everglades, under the orders of our present administration, which defies set laws. The Miccosukee and Seminole tribes are concerned about the environmental impact of the construction of a detention center for immigrant peoples in the Big Cypress near their villages and ceremonial and burial grounds. We also have health and safety concerns for the people who will be imprisoned and how humanely they will be treated. And now within the congregation, we light this candle for Mike Morrissey, who had a successful back surgery Thursday at the UW Spine Center. He hopes to be back at Sunday services in a few weeks and appreciates the good wishes he has received. We place a final stone, holding in our hearts the joys and sorrows I've just shared, but also thinking of the joys and sorrows among us that are unexpressed, but of no less importance. And we light this last candle in hope that all countries and peoples on earth will awaken to peace, forsake wars, and help the earth heal by protecting its ecosystems. I welcome you into a silent moment of reflection.
Thank you, Heather. So these are my shared thoughts. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Oh, Pat, I'm sorry.
Out across the prairie, like cloud shadows on the run. Miles away, I see them chased by wind and cast by sun. The spirit on this mountain, today and yesterday, is a song you feel within you that the wind and trees do play. Standing in this holy place, eyes open to the light, that I might see what you can only see in darkest night. One thing I see for certain in the light of stars above: if we love this land we walk upon, we've got to hold on to what we love, to what we love. So high above the prairie that you can barely see, soars a spotted eagle, so easy and so free. In a never-rising spiral, ever closer to the sun, to soar so high so easily, she is the only one. Dancing in this holy place, eyes open to the light, that I might see what you can only see in darkest night. One thing I see for certain in the light of stars above: if we love this land we walk upon, we've got to hold on to what we love, to what we love. But what's this now I'm seeing? Just a speck against the blue. A red-tailed hawk is following. He wants to go there true. But for him it's not so easy to ride the currents high. He soars and falls and beats again, struggling to fly. Praying in this holy place, eyes open to the light, that I might see what you can only see in darkest night. One thing I see for certain in the light of stars above: if we love this land we walk upon, we've got to hold on to what we love, to what we love. To make this mountain journey, it is no easy climb. You have to stop and rest yourself. It takes a long, long time. I know I'm bound to stumble as I struggle day to day, but with those who've gone before me, I'm walking on this way. Singing in this holy place, eyes open to the light, that I might see what you can only see in darkest night. One thing I see for certain in the light of stars above: if we love this land we walk upon, we've got to hold on to what we love, to what we love.
Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. I really never thought about religion or really began to think about the spiritual development of my children and my own until in 1996, our family took a long summer camping trip across this country, from ocean to ocean, where we saw the tallest trees, vast deserts, silent canyons full of stars, silver mountaintops, golden prairies, and rivers flowing peacefully, just like in the hymn, the American hymn. My son Toby, who was 5 years old, standing in Bryce Canyon, Utah, looked up at a turquoise blue sky and orange sand pinnacles. They were carved, these pinnacles, and are still being carved over the last 1,000,000 years, and I hope for the next 1,000,000 years. They're called hoodoos. He exclaimed very loudly, "Oh my God." And he was like frozen. His words echoed in that canyon, and I watched his face. And you know, saying, oh my God, is kind of he only heard it every once in a while in our house as a blasphemy. Well, not everyone is perfect. I realized at that moment, seeing the colors, the sky, the orange hues, he was feeling something magical. Some would call it a religious moment. I would call it a spiritual experience. But it was at that very moment of hearing my son's words spoken in awe that, oh my God, I realized my own faith was formed in my childhood in that long, long ago magic swamp. In 1999, the Columbine shootings occurred. I was teaching an ecology lab at the time to high school students who were trying to make sense of the tragedy. They kept asking themselves why. Why did this happen? Why did it happen to young people? And no one had an understanding until we took a walk in the Connecticut River Forest in New York. We were looking for lichens, and we talked about them being actually 2 or more organisms that have to live together. They're interdependent upon each other. They're life forms of algae, different kinds of algae, blue-green bacteria, and a fungus. These small life forms are very, very important to all humans, as well as all life on Earth. They are important in the processes of erosion, one of the first organisms to habit areas of destruction. Lichens also provide food for animals as small as insects, mice, and as large as deer and elk. They are important in camouflage and habitat for over 50 species of nesting birds in North America, and around the world, many, many, many more. Lichens are used to make antibiotics for us and dyes for humans, and they act as pollution indicators. If you don't see a lichen, that air is polluted. As students observed and talked, one student got it. She said that all life was really connected, just like the lichen and its relationships in nature. Perhaps, she said, this was a 17-year-old girl, perhaps she said that this understanding was what was missing in their lives, the understanding, and I'm paraphrasing her, of our oneness, interdependence with all things, the earth and each other. That ended the science lesson for the day. And my students sat on the ground to talk about how they could be more caring of each other and more aware of things going on around them until it was time for them to walk back to school to get their bus. Then my oldest son, he's sitting right there, at the age of 13, came home from his first visit to Stony Brook UU on Long Island, New York, with his father and his brother after the tragedy of 9/11. He was carrying the order of service. He handed it to me. I did not go. He handed it to me, telling me to read the 7 principles on the back. Then announcing, "Mama, you don't know it, but you have been." What a gift he gave me that day. Heather, everyone does it. He said, "You don't know it, but you have been a Unitarian Universalist all your life." And he and his brother were the ones to convince me to become a UU. Ben was always observing the night sky over the tidal creek below our house. He saw the owl and the fox hunt for food. He wrote poetry of the time we went camping in 1996. Mesa Verde meant a lot to him. We saw hundreds of hummingbirds at sunset over Mesa Verde, while in his mind's eye, he could hear the ancients singing their songs, past so long, long ago. But until I read his poetry in 2001 after 9/11, I didn't realize that was how he expressed his spirituality. His photography is also a spiritual act. And listening to both my sons singing Leonard Skinner's Simple Man with their father is also a spiritual experience, especially for me. Music is the universal language. It raises the spirituality in all of us. Between the continual deep philosophical and political divisions in this country and constant wars and violence throughout the world, the scarring of landscapes due to the escalation of lumbering, oil, and gas drilling, increased fires, lasting droughts, the more intense storms caused by climate change, which we must admit is mostly all of our own blame. Our earth, its people, and all life is truly suffering. Holy sacred places in nature inspire feelings of magic and mystery, transformation, peace, love, and joy, and give us hope. Because from observing and listening to nature, we gain deep insight and lessons of reciprocity, regeneration, and resilience. Yes, resilience. They teach us, nature teaches us resilience. Think about the eruption of Mount St. Helens and how devastating that was, and how nature healed and thrived. As a freshwater ecologist, I learned that rivers, if allowed to run free of pollution, heal themselves, and they thrive. Our mission as UUs should be to instill a strong sense of awe, a spiritual consciousness in each child and in each other, especially in times like these when we need to have hope. In developing this spiritual consciousness, we will help heal ourselves and the world. We, this UU Fellowship, with other good people on this good earth, are the keepers of the dream. Please, in unison, let's read Wendell Berry's poem, The Peace of Wild Things, to bring us peace. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars watching their flight. For a time I rest in the grace of the world, and I am free. Heather, if you'll come up. These are our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish our flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, the power of transformation. These are the power of transformation. That's good. Carry in our hearts until we are together again. I'm so glad this is being videotaped for the world to see. Okay, closing words. If you wish to keep your nature altar gift, come up and collect it after we sing the Postlude hymn. What gifts are left will be given to the children in RE so that during the summer they may make their own nature altar someplace in Quimper's gardens. It is difficult for me not to cry when we sing this beautiful Postlude hymn, 121. But no matter what happened yesterday, what happens today, there is a tomorrow. And as long as we hold on to what we love, our holy, sacred nature places, a future where I know nature with all its resilience will build up mountains, hill forests, and where water will run clean and freely again. And most importantly, there will be justice for our good earth and all its peoples. We will build the land.
And we'll give them